and welcome to Hixxy Studio. Today I'm going to show you how to make this 8x8 card using Pixie Sparkles from Creative Expressions, a die set from Elizabeth Crafts, which is the chrysanthemum, and we're going to do some embossing with the die. Rather than cutting, we're going to use it to emboss the pattern onto the card. Okay, so we will start by making our Pixie Sparkles background. So we're going to put this to one side and we are going to make our backgrounds. And I have a nice little thing here. So hopefully we won't make too much mess. So I am going to make one background with the pale blush and the teal marine. And I'm going to do the other one just with the red oxide. Okay, so I am going to spritz both pieces of card first before we start. Now, we don't need a lot of the red oxide one, but I tend to, I'm going to make these backgrounds, make a big one, do a full A4, because the bits can be kept in a folder and used again. We will need more spray. So let's do the red oxide. This is quite a powerful pigment in that, and you'll see that straight away. You can see the pigment as soon as I start tapping it on. Okay, now the card is bowing a bit in the middle. I think what I might do with this one is to wet the other side, and I'll show you on my finished bits in a minute exactly why. We might even see it on here. Let's add some more spray. Ooh, direct it in the right way. Otherwise, we're just spraying the air. Here we go. This is such a lovely pigment. Now you can see, because the card has bowed in the middle, which is what happened on one of the bits I prepped before, is what's going to happen is we're going to get a lot of runoff, which is fine because it gives a whole different look. But if you don't want that, then what we need to do is to turn this piece of card over and we will spray it on this side. And you can see you're getting all the runs. Excuse me. My card has the runs. Enough said. So let's get some of the pale blush. And you can see now that my card is not bowing so much. Now, the pale blush is the Pixie Sparkle that has a pigment very similar to the red oxide, but there's not as much in there, so you don't get, as you can see straight away, you're not getting that immediate effect with the red like we did on the red oxide. So we're going to get a fair bit of this on because we want, where possible, to have some red bit. Okay, I'm liking the way that's dripping off. Looks like raspberry ripple ice cream. Yum. Okay, we're going to just spray that again. If I can find this one. Make sure we're spraying it the right way this time. There we go. You can see a little bit more. But you can see it's nowhere near as pigmented as the red oxide, which is fine, because I kind of only really want a little bit. Now, this is quite wet. This time you can see the card hasn't bowed, so we're not getting the drippy runoff. But you'll see as soon as I add this is a very strong one again, this teal. There you go. As soon as the powder comes out, you can see the pigment in it. You just need to be careful not to overpower the pale blush, just to make sure that just enough to add some extra colour to our piece. Okay, let's give this another spray and get that teal marine really activated. But as you can see, having sprayed both sides of the card, this time it's not bowing up in the middle and causing everything to drip off. It's fine if that's what you want, and I'm like I say, I'm quite liking that. That's going to make quite a nice background. But sometimes you don't want it running off like that. So I'm going to leave this in this box to dry. So we're going to put this off to one side. And we are going to look at how, bear with me a moment, I've got a lot of water all over here. At least it's not ink and sparkle everywhere. But there's water. Okay, so what I want to show you now is how to create this embossed detail with a die. Excuse me. So I have my card deco squares here, and this is the one we're going to emboss with. We are going to cut with that one a little bit later. Let's just put that to a side. So we need a piece of card, and I have cut it. This is 5 by 5, so I think I've cut this about 5 1/4. Literally, it is just bigger than the die itself. So now I did have a little bit of an experiment with the Gemini. If you have another machine, you are going to have a think about this. When you have cut with a die and then you emboss, you have the embossing plate underneath with a die like this, and that is exactly what we're going to do. However, I started by using exactly the same sandwich as I would for embossing after I had cut, which is our cutting plate, our embossing mat, the card, the die face down. And if we were embossing, having just cut a little bit there, we would use the plastic shim and then the top. Now, I found with that, what happened was it was too much pressure and the die still cut, not everywhere, but it cut in some places. So I replaced the plastic with the magnetic because it is slightly thinner. Okay, so it's not going to apply quite so much pressure. So we're going to put the magnetic on the top, and then we're going to put the other clear plate over, run that through the machine. And that should be enough just to put that embossed detail into the card and not, hopefully, cut through it. We'll see when it comes out. So, cutting plate, that's our embossing mat, and now it has cut through a little on this, but I think you might just get away with it. I don't think it's cut through enough that it will come out, that you can see. So the pressure on this machine is a little bit more than the pressure on my machine at home. And it does take a little bit of experimentation as to how your own personal machine will work. But we've got away with it because it hasn't actually caused any of the bits to drop out because the pressure was not big enough. Okay, so that is our layer here. So what we need now is our finished pieces to cut our mats and layers. And so I have my bits already prepared. Now this is what I mean by having the runoff. This one was like the red oxide one that I did just now, and it bowed up in the middle and ran off the side, which I do still like. This is the one like the one that I did today, where I sprayed on both sides. So you can see it's the same Pixie sparkles, used in the same way, but just spraying the other side of the card does make a difference to the outcome. So we're going to use these to create the backgrounds for our cards. So I need to cut. First of all, I'm just going to trim a bit of the edge, because when you make backgrounds like this, you do tend to end up with white edges, and we don't really want a white edge. We want have lots of colour, so I'm just going to trim that down. But what I do need is I need this to be, excuse me, just check my measurements so I've written them down. 7¼ squares. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my my mat here, and on my pencil, grab a pencil, and I'm going to mark 7¼ here and 7¼ here, and then I am going to cut that, and that will be the big mat for the back of the card. That one and that. Oh, yeah. Me trying to cut on an uneven surface, it doesn't really work very well. So that's our big mat for the back. I'll just grab my base card. Here's my 8x8 base card. So there's our big mat for the back. Okay. I then have a white square, which is, let me just check, that is 5½ squared. And so I need to go inside of that. I need to cut one which is 5¼ square. So we're going to use this one. Now on this one, we don't seem to have too many white edges, which is good. And also I can use, because it's not over the sort of 6-inch bit, I can actually use the measurements on here to be able to cut my 5¼ So you can see here, just there is my 5¼ and then I'm going to turn around and again lift it up 5¼ Okay, so that is the bit that is going to sit in there. Okay, now I need this bit sits here. So the next bit I need is to cut. This is the next die in on the card deco set, and it sits nicely in there. So just try to decide, do I want a dark one or do I want a light? We'll go with a darker one. Quite like that. So we need to cut one of these. So I'm just going to use my scissors, drop that down because we don't need all that piece of card. So we're going to cut that, which is this piece here. And then I'm also going to cut this white square, which is, I'm going to check, I think it was that one I used. No, it was the little one. It was that one there. So I'm going to cut a white square with that one. Piece of the white card. Do that there. Okay. Put that down too. So those are the next things. Now I'm also, while I'm here, I am going to cut my flower. So this is the chrysanthemum die from Elizabeth Crafts, and I am going to use the stem with the leaf, the 2 leaves, and the 3 different layers. I'm not using this die for the stamen because I don't want it for this particular flower. So I have a piece of red oxide that I also prepared earlier. So my largest die is going to go on the red oxide. My middle die is going to go, we'll use this little bit here, it's going to go on this one. The next one is going to go on the red oxide, as is the leaves and the stem. So those 4 are all going to go on this one. This is going to go on here, and that's it. And I'm doing them all together so it's easier. One pass through the machine and it's done. So I need some tape. Here we go. There's my tape. I'm going to secure these before I cut, because I don't need all of that card, but I'm just going to secure them before I cut into it. My scissors to just cut that bit out. Away. There's those, and then let's make sure this one's up the right way. Okay, so just catch that one there. To this one on there, and then one on there. And again, we don't need all of that. Just go off. Move this to one side. So we need our cutting plate. I'm going to lay all our dies on our cutting plate and just slightly offset square ones so that it doesn't get a long edge hitting it. And we need our plastic shim, our magnetic shim, and our top plate. We're going to run that through the machine. Things away. And finish with the big version of the die. Away. And out it comes. All cut in one pass through. Oh, because these stamens, I was thinking, surely I didn't cut stamens. No, it's a cut on there. Oh, a little leaf has come off, so don't lose that. Turn that over, ready for next time. There's my white square. Okay, here is my square with the perforations on, which is going to sit in there. One's going to go in there. And then I have my, bring it down here now. I have the large flower. Where did that go? Here's the large flower. So that's nice and red, pink even. There's our stem that's going to go down there. Then our middle layer. Oh, that's fallen out nicely. Is there. And then our top layer is here. Find my pokey tool. And top layer. And then my other leaf will be in there. There we go. Those wide. And I am just going to add a little bit of picked raspberry around the outside, just to sort of focus it. When you use similar colour to this, it brings your eye into the middle. So just going to use a brush with a picked raspberry distress oxide, and I'm literally just very, very gently going around the side. Don't need a lot. I'll probably go for less than I did on the original. Just a little bit of a hint on the edge there. Same on this one. Just very, very quickly. Plenty. These brushes pick up plenty of ink. You don't need to keep going back in. And then a little bit on here, on the edges of this. And then we will be ready to assemble. Okay, so move that to the side. Here we go. So let's get our acrylic glue. Make sure we are running. So glue on the back here. So that's our back mat. We're going to put this one here. We're going to this one this way. Just it hangs over on all four. It should just touch the sides. And then this one. And you can see here, this is where it's soaked up stuff that was already in my drawer, which adds to it. So that one there. Oops, Need a bit more glue there. Oh, needs a little bit more glue everywhere. Okay, now I am going to put this one on separately because I want to put a bit of 3D glue gel underneath this layer to bring it up a little bit. This one sits in there. I think we'll go with it. We'll go with it that way, I think. So this one in there. And then we just add the flower. Use 3D glue gel. Give it a little bit of dimension. And I'm literally just shaping it with my fingers. It really doesn't need much. I'm going to put that there. And then I'm going to put a little bit of glue gel in the leaf. But I'm going to put some acrylic along the stem. And now we've placed that, I can put that there. And then our middle layer of flower. Ooh, I can pick it up, it's escaping. There you go, just a little bit of shaping, a little bit of glue gel. Put one in, and then the middle layer, glue gel, and put that in. And then we've got these two leaves. The one goes there, and the little one a little bit further up. So, and then we need some glue gel, and I think I'm going to need another syringe. Here we go. Let's hope this one's not blocked. Probably is, but let's go for it. Yes. There we go. There we go. So we're going to that there, raises it up just slightly. And then, as ever with my cards to finish, we have a coordinating bow. So that's just going to sit on there. So a really, really simple card using Pixie Sparkles, using a die to emboss with rather than cut with, and one of the lovely Elizabeth Crafts flower dies. Thank you.